Hello everyone and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Thursday, September 28th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
Please remember everyone, you can help support our show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, we do go live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I am so dead. All I want to do is just die even more.
Why are you dead? Stop being dead.
I'm so fucking tired, dude.
Of?
Just everything.
Yeah.
Mostly exhausted. Like, I had, again, to run around the entire building, so I had a lot of fun doing that. Except I didn't have a lot of fun. That was a lie. My legs feel like they were going to fall off, and the only way that I feel like I can cure them is to pump 50 cc's of pure feces into my knees.
Why feces, specifically?
It was a Rick and Morty thing.
Oh, okay. One of the more recent episodes?
No, it wasn't in an episode. It was in a side thing where they some of the people who do the voices got together and
I remember that. I watched it. It was funny.
Yeah, do the random bit.
Weird improv stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But tomorrow's Friday, so you only have 4 hours of work tomorrow. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. I had been asked to help with SenshiCon this weekend, and I said I'm going to have to pass on that, B-Dog.
B-Dog?
Yeah, I was talking to Bailey.
Oh, okay. I was like, why B-Dog?
Because it bails. Which is funny, because I was bailing.
Bailing hard. Yeah, someone actually suggested / sort of asked me if we were going to be at SenshiCon. I'm like, I mean, why?
If we were asked to do SenshiCon, I wouldn't see why not, but we weren't, so whatever.
Well, and it's not just that. It's like, if we wanted to set up like a booth at SenshiCon, that's kind of pricey. Also, It's not like we're exactly, like, nerd-oriented on... I mean, we do talk about nerd stuff on the show. I mean, a lot of the times our things of the day pertain to, like, video games or, you know, television or something like that. But the actual show itself is just news. Like...
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, SenshiCon kind of sucks.
Yep. Yes, it does.
At least when I went several times when I was younger.
They keep trying.
I mean, like 4 years ago.
They keep trying, but it just doesn't get there. But yeah, so I don't know why we would go to, like, if we were like an anime show or something, then maybe, but, or even like a video game show, but we're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't feel like, I feel like we'd be so out of place in SenshiCon.
Yeah, it would be kind of weird.
Like,
but you know, I mean, I would still do it.
Sure.
I almost feel like, I don't know. The last time I went, they had a LARP table, and I almost felt like that wasn't really a spot for SenshiCon, but SenshiCon's kind of like a nerdery all-around thing.
Also, as I say, SenshiCon will take whatever they can get.
Yeah.
You're willing to pay for some space? Deal. Done.
Mm-hmm.
So, either way. Shall we talk about some news, buddy?
Yeah.
Some news?
Yeah.
10. Police union complains that public got to see them roughing up Utah nurse.
You're going to have to say who it's by because it's not opening for me.
Well, that sucks. That was submitted by Fungus Mungus to our bad cop, No Donut.
That's fucking hilarious. That's a subreddit. It's working. It's working.
It's working. Whole thing shuts down. Broadcaster crashes. Your computer catches on fire. It's working.
No, that's what I call pod racing.
Exactly. Okay, so this is going back to that conversation that we had, not too long ago about the Utah nurse who was being instructed by police to draw blood, and she said, no, you don't have a warrant, he's not under arrest, and he's unconscious right now, so he can't give you consent, so I am not allowed legally to draw blood for you. Like, I can draw blood for the sake of, like, running tests for the hospital, but I can't draw blood for the police just because you want it. And in which case the police then arrested her for obstruction of justice. That whole thing blew up. The body cams of the police officers got spread all over social media. Police were harshly criticized. She was commended for standing up to police. Alex Wubbles is her name. And coming back from that, the gentleman who was the other person in the car crash, the gentleman that they wanted blood from was the victim of a car crash from a high-pursuit chase when the person they were pursuing rammed into his truck head first. That gentleman died on Monday, so there's that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he passed away on Monday, so that's unfortunate. But on top of that, the head of the Salt Lake Police Association, so the union for the local police there, came out and said that he was rather upset that the public got to see it. And the reason that they got to see it is normally police body cam footage is not immediately available to the public if there is a pending investigation, in which case here there was. Because of this situation, though, and because she'd become part of that investigation, Miss Wubbles was given, after requesting it, the police body cam footage, which she then immediately put onto social media, which then went kaboom! And so they don't feel like the public should have gotten to see it when they did.
Oh, so they wanted time to doctor the footage a bit.
I guess, I don't know. The police officers that were involved with it weren't placed on administrative leave until the footage was made public. So that also looks bad.
Yeah, that does look really bad.
Either way, though, I don't feel bad. Like, this is why we have body cams, so that you guys are held responsible for the shit you pull.
Yeah, stop trying to wiggle out of your fucking responsibilities by saying, hey, it's not cool that we were responsible at these times.
It's not so bad. It is that bad. It is.
9.
All right, here's a big one. Trump advisor can't guarantee taxes won't go up for the middle class.
This was submitted by Zircon X to Our Politics.
Okay, so instead of talking about this specific topic, we're going to talk about the tax reform plan that has been being put forward by the Trump administration. Because depending on how you look at it, and if you consider a whole bunch of ifs, it may or may not be a good thing. It could also be a bad thing. So here's what they're looking at, okay? Just as some little pilot notes here. They want to reduce individual income tax rates. Now remember, a lot of Trump's campaign trail was that he was going to reduce taxes. And what it actually is they're trying to make taxes more simple so that people can more easily understand them in such a way that it may or may not have a positive or negative effect. So instead of the 8 tax brackets we have now, they want to turn those 8 brackets into 3. And so with those 3 brackets, depending on how much you make, you will go into one of these categories. Because right now, the categories go from 10% to 15 to 20. Oh, I'm sorry, there were 6. 10%, 15, 28, 35%, and 40. I still can't count. That's 5. And
you're close.
I'm close. And what they want to change that to is into 3 brackets at 12%, 25%, and 33%, with how much you make putting you into one of those brackets. And so what it means is for some people, they might be taxed a little bit less. For some people, they might be taxed a little bit more. So what we're looking at is that depending on how much you make, it will change your taxes. So
let me guess. If you make a lot of money, you're going to be taxed a bit less. But if you make a little bit of money, you're going to be taxed a bit more.
So the way that this will work is that everyone that makes more than $225,000 a year will be moved from being taxed at 40%, from anywhere between 33 to 40%, to a flat 35%. So I'm sorry for the video people because I'm having to look over here at this little chart here. So if you make more than $250,000 a year, you will be taxed at a flat 35%. Now for the people that used to make more than, it was around like 500,000, they were taxed at 40%, so they're getting a little bit of a tax break. Now, looking at that as well, if you make between $75,000 and $225,000 a year, you were originally taxed somewhere between 17.5% to 28%. You will now be taxed a flat 25%. Although, with that break, the number of people that were taxed at the 18%-ish was an extremely minute amount of people. The majority of the people that made more than $75,000 were taxed between 25 to 33%. So for them, almost across the board, it is a tax reduction. And then if you make less than that, so $75,000 all the way down to $18,000, you were originally taxed at 15%. This is what the majority of us are taxed at, is at 15%. Our taxes will go down to 12%. The people that are getting a tax increase are the people that make from $0,000 to $18,000. Now,
the poorest of poor people.
They're being taxed an additional 2%. However, the important thing to remember on this is that there is considered a 0% tax bracket. And that 0% tax bracket originally right now is people that I think it's don't make more than $6,000. And that 0% tax bracket is being doubled to $12,000. So you are only getting an increase in taxes if you make between $12,000 and $18,000 a year. So a very specific range. And even on top of that, it's only an increase by 2%.
It's still an increase.
Sure. So
honestly, I don't mind paying more taxes because I don't mind having that.
you're not in that bracket anyway. Your taxes will go down by 3%, Nathan.
Right. I know, but I'm just saying I would not mind paying that extra 3%, if not a little bit more. I actually don't mind taxes. I view taxes as a very, very necessary thing.
So across the entire board, for the most part, everyone's taxes are going down with this proposed plan. They're going to increase the standard deduction. So, when you're filing your taxes and you get that automatic deduction from your taxes and you're like, what is that? I don't know. What it is that you automatically have an amount deducted from your taxes based on being an American citizen. The normal amount is $12,000 for married couples and $6,000 for single filers. That's what I was talking about earlier. That is being doubled across the board. Marriage couples will be $24,000, single filers will be $12,000. So what this does is it drastically reduces the number of people that need to itemize deductions instead of just having that flat deduction. The only reason you would need to itemize your deductions is if your individual deductions will exceed what your blanket deduction would be. For the most part, they won't. It would increase the child tax credit. Right now it is worth $1,000 per child underneath 17. They haven't said what it would go up to, just that it would be substantially higher and it would be easier to get. This means that more people would get a tax credit for having children. It would get rid of valuable tax breaks. And what this is, these are the tax breaks that you hear about rich people getting. And Trump, even in his speech, admitted that this is something that he takes advantage of. It is a loophole for rich people, and their tax plan gets rid of that. It would preserve some of the deductions, but for the most part, the majority of the rich people loopholes that they use would go away. It would kill the estate tax. The estate tax you may have heard of also as the death tax. So what this is that if you are extremely wealthy and you die, if your entire worth is worth more than $5.5 million, there is something like a 40% tax on your stuff before anyone else gets anything. So if your estate's worth $100 million, you die, the state goes, we'll take $40 million of that, you do whatever the fuck else with the other $60 million. It completely removes that. The number of people that affects is the top 0.2% of the entire country.
But I like that estate tax.
It's also fairly irrelevant, though, because it's only when they die and if they don't have other plans for their estate. I'm
just saying, you never know.
So altogether, what this does is for the vast majority of people, all the way from the rich to the poor, it reduces their taxes on a blanket level. There are, of course, exceptions to this, because there's always exceptions to every single thing, but it does drastically reduce taxes across the entire board. Now, what does that mean in terms of the government's budget? Well, it would be seen as right around a $2 trillion deficit to the country over the next 10 years. Okay? So that's what that difference makes up, is $2 trillion over a decade. So what does that mean, though? Oh, I'm sorry. There's a couple other things to tap on there that doesn't necessarily pertain to the average person, is that corporate taxes dropped to 20% from today's 35%, so a 15% tax reduction for businesses everywhere. There'd be a drop on taxes to small businesses, and also changed how multinationals are taxed. So what this means is that, like I just said, there's a $2 trillion change, and if you just purely look at how much money we got today, took all these percentages and changed them down, we would lose $2 trillion over the next 10 years. While that sounds bad, what they are hoping for is that if if the people have less taxes, that means they have more money, which means they'll spend more money, which means that companies will sell more stuff, which means that you have the economy building more. If businesses are taxed less, they are more likely to bring more business to America, have their warehouses and things like that stored here, produce things here rather than somewhere else because it's not as expensive anymore to make things here. They make more. If they have more stuff here, that brings more jobs here, which means more people are working, more people have more money, those people pay that money to the people that are now have less taxes, and it keeps that cycle going. So while if you look at the flat numbers, we lose $2 trillion over the next 10 years, that is purely presuming that everything stays exactly how it is today.
Okay. What we also have to realize is that those people who are putting that money back into the economy isn't necessarily going into our government. A lot of people don't like funding our government, but I will stress it as much as possible. You need to fucking pay your taxes and fund your government.
The
Because
idea...
if you like living in a decent place that isn't a third world fucking country, then pay your fucking government.
Yeah, the idea is that there will be more businesses rising up here and people bringing their businesses here, which means that there will be more people that are paying taxes than there are today, which will make up for that deficit while everyone has more money.
Theoretically.
Is the idea.
More people aren't going to be coming here if we keep fucking doing the stupid travel bans.
Well, yeah. And so that's what the goal is. Now, there is the potential that they push forward this tax reform and all these businesses just keep the money, and it literally means no benefit at all to the people of the country at all, and it just hurts us immensely.
Mm-hmm. Which is what I tend to view as going to happen.
So
a lot of businesses are fucking greedy as shit.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. The other thing that they would change is, you know how we've talked about how Apple has like $180 billion sitting in offshore accounts?
Yeah.
The reason they keep them in those offshore accounts is because if you bring money into America, it's taxed. And right now, those are called pass-throughs, and pass-throughs are taxed at a rate of 39.6%. So for every dollar that you want to move from outside of the country into the country, they take 40 cents of it. That rate would be cut down to 25% in the hopes that people would stop putting their money in foreign accounts.
In offshore accounts.
Now, again, that's what they're hoping for. There is no guarantee whatsoever on any of that.
I mean, I do preach that we need to try change every now and then.
Right.
I just think that this is bad change, but you know what? If it works, sure.
Well, if it works, it will be good, but there's no way to guarantee that it will work.
Try it anyways.
And that's kind of what they're pushing for. And like, so.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna try this anyways, but not try all of these other things like solar panels. Oh, fuck.
And Nathan, the reason they're wanting to try this is because this is their idea.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking. More people need to be like me.
Sure. So, if I didn't lose you through all of that, that's a very blanket general passover of what they're pushing in terms of tax reform. I don't know if it's good or bad. And because if you just look at the numbers today compared to what they would be, it's bad. If it does truly generate a large amount of stimulation to the economy and have a boon in business growth and jobs, it could easily be very good and give us a surplus of money compared to a deficit. But that's a pretty big if.
You're essentially running on hopes and dreams right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I said, go for it. Try it, you know? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll try something else. The problem I have is that they're more willing to try their own stupid-ass ideas and not open up to more other ideas, mostly science-related things.
Yeah.
This is why preschoolers have a shit time learning science.
But people care about money more than anything else, and that's why I just spent like 10 minutes harping about money.
It's so fucking aggravating.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I mean, unfortunately, like, for us, we kind of just have to sit and watch and see what happens.
I mean, we get to vote on it, right?
We don't know. Congress does. I mean, the president, the executive branch, built this tax reform plan, are now presenting it to the legislative branch, so the House and the Senate, if they approve it, then it goes through that process. It doesn't actually involve us. I mean, we can always call our senators and representatives and be like, hey, we like or don't like this, but that's all. It's kind of also up to them on if they listen or care or not.
I hope it works. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope it works. And no one has come out and been like, this is just bad. This isn't like Graham Cassidy, the recent healthcare bill, where it's like, this benefits nobody at all. This just fucks everyone. This even loses us money. Why would you suggest this? Whereas this one, it's like, okay, if it works, it'll be great. If it doesn't,
we're fucked.
Well, my brain went, we're already $20 trillion in debt.
Oh, we'd be even more fucked.
Fuck it. That's part of where my brain went is like, meh.
Yeah, just like, fuck it, I'll get paid eventually.
Yeah, like we're so in debt that we are in control of our debt because people are like, oh my god, please let them succeed so we might get some money back, because right now we're not gonna get any. And if we get more debt, it's gonna be like, oh well, what are you gonna do? We're America, because we're that fucking arrogant.
Yeah, because, and everything we do is fucking perfect.
No, it's not. It's quite the opposite, actually. I changed the title card at some point. Let's move on.
8.
DNA surgery corrects human embryos of genetic defect for the first time ever.
This is amazing. This is submitted by Tomorrow Night UK. I'm sorry, to our Futurology.
Gene editing. That devious, scary thing that is illegal in a ton of places. So this is actually a team at the Sun Yat-sen University in China, and what it is we've talked about gene editing before. Now, this was not a full baby or anything like that. This was an embryo that was cultivated. It wasn't like an actual taken from a person. This is something that they grew, and then they intentionally introduced this disease to it, which the disease is called what? Beta thalassemia. I don't know what. Yeah. And what it is a very bad genetic defect, and what it is that your DNA is made of 4 bases: adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, and that makes up your entire DNA. Is those 4 things in the order? That is your programming. That is your ones and zeros, except there's 4 of them. So figure out how the fuck that works. Quaternary instead of binary. Is that how you'd say that? Anyway, and all this disease does is it changes one of those to one of the others, and that fucks your entire thing. It's literally like changing a 1 to a 0, and the entire code falls apart. And so what they've done is, on a genetic level, they took it off and put the correct one on, and it worked.
Oh, it's just like swapping out the a bad file for a new file in a computer.
Yep. Now, this isn't going to grow up to be a person or anything. They just wanted to prove that they could do it. So what this means is that there is the potential for us, when we have a child, for us to look at it and go, oh no, it's going to have Down syndrome, and go, bloop, 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 never mind, it's fixed.
That's cool. That'll erase a lot of negative things off of the face of humanity, really.
But it also then has the concern of, is this ethical for you to be messing with someone's DNA before they're born? And then there's also the question of where you start to get, people have been talking about designer babies, of I want my baby to have this color skin, this color hair with this color eyes. And you could technically edit someone's genetic code while they're in an embryo and go, yep, this is going to be a perfect this color skin tone.
Nah. If we're gonna do baby editing, I want my baby to have like a turtle shell, as well as the ability to live past 200 years old, and like the ability to run as fast as a cheetah with cheetah legs.
I wish you luck on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fuck a lot of animals.
That sounds even more ethically questionable.
I mean, Tormund fucked a bear.
Sure.
7.
Russian-linked Twitter account stoked NFL anthem debate.
This is submitted by No Fun Here to our news.
So, where was it? So, researchers at the Alliance for Securing Democracy have found that there have been approximately 600 Twitter accounts that are completely tied to Russian influence operations that, and it wasn't even a particular side, they were pushing and inflating both sides of this debate, purely to breed dissonance amongst the ranks of the American people.
They want to divide people.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, of course it does. People like arguing with each other, especially in fucking America, because everyone thinks they're right because we're Americans.
Yep. Totally, 100%. We are the most correct people ever.
It's just people aren't open to being wrong.
I also saw an interesting argument on the whole take a knee, stand for the anthem debate, and it was that, stop playing it off that you're taking a knee over police brutality against people of color when people of color murdered other people of color. The amount of violence of people of color on people of color is exponentially higher than police against people of color. And like I understand where they're coming from of there was 14 deaths on people of color, unnecessary deaths on people of color caused by police last year, and there was something like 2,000 murders or something like that of people of color murdering other people of color. I understand that this is resulting in a lot more death, but bad people killing bad people... No, wait. Bad people killing people is not the same as a police killing someone who is trying to do what they're told. Like, these are separate issues. And just because one might result in more harm to a society does not mean that this other one still isn't important.
I'm sorry, your audio cut out for me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I would also like to point out that most murders are done by men.
Sure.
So it's like, we're not saying all men are bad. We're not saying all police are bad. We're saying, hey, there's an abnormally large amount of police killing black people, or just people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not okay.
No, it's not. And, like, focus on the problems that you can solve. Like, people are gonna kill people until fucking everybody's dead. Like, humanity is built to destroy itself. We suck in that regard. So,
or is it the best thing ever? It really depends on your viewpoint of humanity.
It's all a matter of perspective, really.
Mm-hmm.
6.
Monsanto banned from European Parliament.
This was submitted by Grep Nork to Our World News.
If you don't know who Monsanto is a company that makes things like Roundup weed killer, and I'm sure we've all seen the Roundup ads over the last 15 years about, like, they're being all serious and shooting the weeds in the pavement.
Yeah, and they got
stuff.
that, like, the whip crack, the whoosh.
Yeah, exactly. That Monsanto is who makes Roundup. And Monsanto lobbyists have been banned from entering the European Parliament because they didn't. The company itself didn't show up to a hearing regarding an actual investigation about their product. Not specifically Roundup, but something that they put in Roundup. What is it actually called? It's called glyphosate, and it's one of the primary ingredients in Roundup. And there's a large amount of debate on a world scale about whether it is environmentally friendly or not. The European Parliament seems to think it's not, whereas in the United States we're like, fuck, whatever, we don't care, kill everything, because we're American.
Because lobbyists.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they didn't show up to the hearing to talk about if glyphosate was okay or not, when they were supposed to, because they're part of the reason that it's being discussed. So they went, fine, we'll talk about it without you, and you're not welcome to talk about it in any capacity to us anymore. None of your lobbyists are allowed anywhere near us.
I feel like that should be allowed more often. It's just the banning of lobbyists in most parliamentary or Congress-style areas. House of Representatives, even.
Sure. And, like, it's interesting, and Monsanto hasn't immediately come out to respond on it yet. It's like, why wouldn't you show... It's like people that don't show up to their own hearing and then are surprised when they're, like, going to jail. It's like, you didn't...
It's like, what? I have an arrest warrant for an assault case that I didn't show up to my arraignment for?
No. Yes.
This is bullshit.
Go to jail. Get the fuck out.
You're saying I can't quash my warrant right here, right now, unless I pay $1,000? I have to wait 2 days? This is bullshit.
5.
China orders North Korean firms to close down within the next 120 days.
This is submitted by I Like Polls to Our World News.
China's following through. So in terms of the sanctions that were placed on North Korea on September 12th in regards to their weak flexes of their military mighty muscles, their missile muscles. They had additional missile muscles. They had additional sanctions put down on them back on September 12th. In response to that, China said, "Okay, you haven't been cooperating. We will follow through with what the United Nations has placed on you, because we are not going to be your big brother here." So yeah, they went to all of the North Korean companies that are currently operating in China and said, you have 120 days to close down and leave, or we'll do it for you.
All of the North Korean firms?
That operate in China. So, like, yeah, so if there's like a branch of a North Korean company in China, they have to close down.
I didn't realize North Korea had more than just, like one company.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure they do.
I didn't know there was business owners other than Kim Jong-un.
I'm sure there are. You probably have North Korean products and you don't even realize it.
I'm, okay with that. I have a
4.
lot of like bootleg products. I don't know where it is. I had a hat from Thailand that instead of saying Billabong on the side, it said Billabong.
That's even better.
It was a fedora, if you will.
4.
Last month, 83% of U.S. protests were against Trump.
This was submitted by Vip Jahid 1 to Our Politics.
I actually kind of hate this story because it's such a useless non-story. So they're talking about all of the demonstrations that happened in August. We're talking things about like Charlottesville and all of the other Trumps that have been the protests that have been going around. I'm not sure exactly where they're getting this number from, and I question it immensely.
I don't know. I feel like the only way to really get that is to go to each state and ask for the entirety of their permits for protests.
I guess. I don't know. They're saying that there were 787 events that were made in August. What? I read this earlier and I understood and I don't remember it now. Either way, as time goes on, there have been less events, but there have been more arrests in those events.
Okay. So it's like people are fighting back against protesters?
I guess.
They're trying to quiet. Isn't this what happened in China for a while, like a year or two ago?
The dude getting run over by the tank?
No, that's Tiananmen Square. And he didn't get ran over.
I don't know, dude. I really don't know.
Though that is a contention point for the Mandela effect is Tiananmen Square.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who remember him getting ran over, and there's people who remember it not happening.
Huh.
Well, not Tiananmen Square not happening, but the
him getting run over.
Yeah.
3.
Fake wellness blogger fined $410,000 over a scam involving claims her non-existent brain cancer was cured through alternative therapies and nutrition.
This was submitted by Kitty Kitty to Our Justice Serve.
She was charged with so many things. And the biggest reason that she's not doing any jail time, at least not right now. And most of this fine is coming from that she falsely claimed that she had brain cancer, falsely claimed that she got cured from brain cancer, including saying that her cancer had spread all the way throughout her body. And that through her own natural remedies and recipes and stuff like that she got better. But so that's
not how that works.
That's one problem. The other problem is
shaking.
What's the matter?
Everything on my desk is shaking.
Are you like tapping your leg or something?
No.
It looks like an earthquake on my end.
It might be.
Maybe. Either way.
It might just be a shitty house.
So through this, she then started to sell a app and a cookbook and stuff like that about what she ate and what she did to get better. And throughout this, she continuously said, these sales are going to go towards this charity. These sales are going to go towards this charity. And one particularly bad case is that there's a young boy by the name of Joshua Schwartz who is suffering from an inoperable brain tumor. And she said after finding out about his case, she's like, hey, my case was a lot like yours.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Uh-huh. And then said, for the next week, all of the sales of my app will go to that family to support. And it didn't.
What a giant,
not a cent.
Giant gaping cunt.
Yeah. So she.
No, I like cunts. I don't like this.
She so here's where the numbers break down. $90,000 for failing to donate proceeds from the sale of the Whole Pantry app, which is the app she was selling as publicly advertised. $50,000 for failing to donate from the launch of the app. $30,000 for failing to donate proceeds from a 2014 Mother's Day event. $90,000 for failing to donate to other company profits, and $150,000 for not donating to that boy and his family.
Yeah.
Now,
I hope that $150,000 goes to that boy and his family as restitution payment.
Well, and that's what the judge wants. The fine itself just has to be paid. But the judge wants to see those fines, if they are paid, to go to the places that money should have went to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucked up, lady. That is super fucked up. It actually reminds me of a TV show. there's this Hulu TV show called Deadbeat, and it's about a medium, and his rival is a medium who goes around and helps people find closure with their dead relatives.
Okay.
And the other guy is an actual medium, and he proves her wrong a lot.
Cool.
So.
2.
Puerto Rico. And Nathan, just read all of the submitted advice.
All right, it was submitted by Bakershire to Our Uplifting News. It was also submitted one day ago by Dazzlerocks to Our News. It was also submitted by I Am Clayton Bigsby. I Am Clayton Bigsby to Our Politics. Oh, I fucking miss goddamn the Chappelle Show. This was submitted by Antinatalista to Our Politics. Also, Happy Cake Day. And this was also submitted by Athena Latina via private message.
So, first, we've talked about it a few times. Going to talk about it some more. Puerto Rico's in bad shape. Puerto Rico got slammed by Hurricane Maria. It was a Category 5 hurricane as it approached. Category 4 as it washed over Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico doesn't have the best infrastructure already. They had 40-year-old power lines. A lot of their buildings weren't up to code. And so the wind and the floods and the water just wrecked the island. 3.4 million people is the population of Puerto Rico, almost all of which do not have power, don't have electricity, and do not have access to food or clean water. Puerto Rico is a territory or a commonwealth or whatever of the United States. They are all American citizens. And
it's like Guam or the Virgin Islands.
Yep, and they are in very bad shape. So we've talked about it before, and so we're going to be talking about several things that have happened over the last 24 hours in regards to Puerto Rico. The first of which is that Royal Caribbean Cruises are going to be sending their adventure ship, so the Caribbean Adventure massive cruise ship, to and from Puerto Rico, bringing supplies to them and also being willing to take anyone that wants to leave, taking them away from Puerto Rico.
That's dope.
Yeah, they're like, you want to go to Florida? We'll take you to Florida. We're going to go to Florida to pick up more supplies. You get off, help, we'll put supplies on, back to Puerto Rico. So they're just going to, that ship, the entire cruise for the entire next several months has been canceled, and that ship is just going to be ferrying back and forth the entire time. So thank you very much to the Royal Caribbean Cruise. Next, Pitbull has also done what he can. I mean, I'm sure he could do more, but this is still awesome on his end. He is going to be sending his private plane, already has sent his private plane, and his private plane is going to be nonstop ferrying people back and forth from Puerto Rico, specifically cancer patients.
That's amazing.
Because they don't have...
Oh my god, Pitbull.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide, right? Mr. Worldwide.
I make fun of you so much, Pitbull, but thank you.
Yeah, so because they don't have power, they can't continuously deliver chemo treatments to those that need them. So he's like, I got you, boo. And he's sending his private plane back and forth. You need cancer treatments? Cool, we're taking you to Florida. You need cancer treatments? Cool, we're taking you to Florida. And just ferrying people back and forth on his private jet.
Cancer treatments for all.
Next, the Jones Act. We talked about it yesterday and how much it sucks. And Trump has waived the Jones Act for Puerto Rico.
Yeah, probably after a shitload of backlash against his fucking Twitter.
He's waiving it for 10 days.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Fuck you, you stupid cunt. I fucking absolutely hate that, you giant gaping dickhole.
10 days. Like...
Fuck you.
It will help because there will be some, like, foreign ships will be able to go in and help, but at the same time, 10 days? Like,
yeah, no, that's absolutely batshit, you stupid giant fucking idiot.
Like, there's a large number of people in Congress that are pushing for it to be increased to at least a year, if not more, or at least or removed permanently. As we talked about yesterday, the Jones Act went into place in 1920, and what it says is that on ports, the ports are only allowed to accept ships in and out that are from U.S. flagged vessels with American crews. But that was in 1920, so literally 97 years ago. And on top of that, the U.S. Virgin Islands, so literally right there next to Puerto Rico, have had a permanent exemption from it since 1928.
Since almost 100 fucking years.
And
this is fucking bullshit.
All across the East Coast, so everywhere like Louisiana, Texas, Florida, all got waivers from the Jones Act from Hurricane Irma and Harvey purely because oil production was a little bit low. But Puerto Rico needs food and water, so I'll guess we'll waive it for 10 days.
Yeah, they don't have fucking oil. Let's fuck them.
God damn it. Fuck you.
God, I hate everything.
Don't worry, we waived it. No.
Seriously, though. Fuck you.
Vivi de la Vega in the chat room says, yeah, it took him 9 days to waive it. Idiot. Also, hopefully McCain's bill for a permanent exemption goes through. Yeah, John McCain has long since been horribly against the Jones Act because it sucks. The only people that it benefits are the people that own the ports in Florida, because there are
probably my favorite Republican right now.
Yeah, right? But yeah, so because the ports in Florida don't want the Jones Act to go away, because right now what has to happen, since they're an international port, foreign vessels can come to Florida, in which the goods are offloaded in Florida, put on another boat, and then sent to places that are under the Jones Act, like Puerto Rico. And this is why Puerto Rico has to pay literally twice the normal amount for things like fuel, food, and water, which is...
And you wonder why they're in a fucking deficit.
It's garbage. So John McCain has long been against it because it just sucks. And so he's hopefully trying to get rid of it. Now, in a follow-up to that, Donald Trump has refused to send any more aid to Puerto Rico, citing business interests.
Fuck you!
Yep.
Holy shit, you giant fucking turd!
Yeah, right?
Fucking U.S. citizens are dying because of that, you stupid dick!
Yep. So based on a consultation with other federal agencies, he has decided that there is no more aid that will be necessary to be sent to Puerto Rico in terms of like in terms of like extra ships. So like the USNS Comfort is not going to be going to Puerto Rico, at least not right now. The Jones Act is not going to be getting extensions on the waiver because it would harm American businesses too much.
Oh my god. No. No.
Because a lot of people that work in the shipping industry would be hurt if the Jones Act was lifted.
I don't give a shit if those people skip a paycheck or two, alright? There are people in fucking Puerto Rico who are fucking dying. Dying! And you care about fucking money. You care about fucking dollar bills or fucking coins. You giant insensitive prick. I hope you hear me. I hope you hear this. Because you are a giant douche, and I hope you die alone. And sad.
There is a little bit of light on the horizon that Puerto Rico may be getting help from one of the most unlikely sources. Its lenders. The people that it's in debt to.
Well, I mean, that's good, in the least.
So the biggest problem that Puerto Rico currently has, aside from the damage, is that they don't have electricity. Their entire electric infrastructure, their power infrastructure, they still had all above ground lines. And it was all put into place and met the code from 1970, not 2017. And so when the winds came and the water came, all of it was just wrecked. And so they won't have power until literally the entire power grid is rebuilt. Now, the problem with that is that there is one power company for the entire island of Puerto Rico. The whole thing. Yeah.
That's a monopoly if I've ever heard of one.
Well, they're called PREPA, and the problem is that PREPA has no money at all. PREPA is $9 billion in debt.
Wow,
yeah.
That's shitty.
So
especially for Puerto Rico, who really needs that right now.
Yeah, so PREPA, which is $9 billion in debt, and the investors that they're in debt to are like, fuck, under these circumstances, we will literally never get our money. Ever. So here's what they want to do, and they have to get approval to do this. They want to...
so it's never going to happen.
Well, maybe. And it's not up to like Congress or anything. It is up. It is up to a very specific judge, judge, who is currently presiding over Puerto Rico's debt case. So, if that Judge Laura Taylor Swain of the Federal District Court in New York, if she says it is okay, and the Puerto Rican government says it's okay, that's all that they need. They don't need Donald Trump to say it's okay.
So we need to get literally Trump and all of his Trumpites away from her as fast as possible so that they can't try and convince her.
So here's what they want to do. They want to cancel a large chunk of the power company's outstanding debt and give them $1 billion. And what this does is they go, if you have this money, we will give you more money and forgive a huge portion of the debt you already owe us, because we talked already about how Puerto Rico has been declared a full natural disaster. And in that case, the country and the people in the country can apply for a disaster loan. Not disaster loan, a disaster compensation, essentially. In which,
relief?
What?
A relief?
Yeah.
A stipend?
And what it does is, through FEMA, they will pay 75% of the repairs that they would never have to pay back. But Puerto Rico, or the companies that are wanting the help, would need to pay the other 25%. And right now, they don't have any money. So the people that are in debt, that Puerto Rico is in debt to, said, tell you what, we will forgive a huge chunk of your debt, give you a big chunk of money so that you can get that help from FEMA, and that will allow you to rebuild your country. And since you will have the money and have to rebuild everything, rebuild it the right way so this problem doesn't happen again, so that you guys can get back on your feet, start making money, and then pay us back.
Can someone do that for me? Please?
I believe that's called bankruptcy, buddy.
Shit, I'm gonna go file.
Please don't. So that's what they're proposing. If it gets approved, then that's the plan that'll go forward. Although right now the engineers for Puerto Rico that have arrived from Florida are having a problem. And what that is that, as I just talked about, the previous power infrastructure was all on above ground lines that were not up to code, and so they collapsed and all went out. Most power lines today, to keep them safe from the weather, the elements, outside effects, are underground. And that's what they want to do. They're like, if we're going to rebuild Puerto Rico's entire power grid, we need to stick it in the ground. Problem: most of the country is still flooded. They can't.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be hard to get to.
You can't put the underground power lines in until the water dissipates.
That's going to take forever.
Yeah. So
They might have to hire people to just fucking bucket it out.
It's going to be a very long, difficult process, but it looks like Puerto Rico might be getting some of the help it needs. Maybe. We hope.
Chadwick said it's hard to do that in a swamp. I guess we're going to have to just drain the swamp.
1.
American icon and Playboy founder Hugh M. Hefner has died.
This was submitted by Nirot to our news.
Yep, he died at the ripe old age of 91 from natural causes in his bed in the Playboy Mansion overnight last night.
I will tell you what, there are a lot of people who are really sad about this, and there are a lot of feminists and other people who view Hugh Hefner as the devil who are very happy about this.
You know, I'm fairly irrelevant, like, not irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, you are irrelevant.
Thanks, buddy. No,
You're fairly neutral.
I don't really care.
Indifferent.
Yeah, indifferent. That's the word I wanted. I don't care. Like, he lived to 91. Good job. Like, I am sad if people die before the age of 70, because I'm like, man, they still could have had at least 10 or 20 years left in them. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless, you know, they're like Hitler, in which I'm like, fuck, I could just fucking die.
Right.
But
Hugo Chavez.
But otherwise, you know, it's like, he lived a great life for him. Like,
shit, he probably died and is not in a better place than when he was at.
Chadwick asked, is the Playboy Mansion still up for sale? No, the Playboy Mansion went up for sale, was bought under the condition that the person that bought it let Hugh Hefner live there until he died. So he was still living in the mansion while someone else owned it.
That being said, apparently, and I mean, I didn't know because I didn't pay a lot of attention to Hugh Hefner. I was more of a Stan Lee fan.
Sure.
But apparently Hugh Hefner was a giant misogynist and was also basically the worst when it came to his relationships.
I believe it.
So there are a lot of former Playboy bunnies that are fairly happy that this happened. There are just a lot of feminists in general. And I mean, I'm all for feminists and being mad at towards this guy that died, but I feel what you feel, and that's just indifference. Yeah. I didn't read Playboy. I went to straight hardcore porn on the internet like any good child should.
Right. Definitely.
The articles in Playboy you can read other places. So I don't know. It was meh.
Meh.
A 91-year-old dude died. Whatever.
I need to look up something.
I could honestly care less if Hugh Hefner was still alive.
I need to...
Or is that the right term for that? I could care more. No, wait.
You couldn't care less.
I couldn't care less.
That's what you're
Even
looking
though I could care less.
Sure.
In fact, I'm actually kind of pissed.
Why?
I tried to sue Playboy for medical issues, and they were not having it. Carpal tunnel, you know?
Damn it, Nathan. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway. I'm going to go first. There's two things that I cared about, and it both involves the hat that I'm wearing, and that is roller derby.
That hat's fucking sick, by the way.
Right, I love this hat. It's got this sick-ass fucking flower pattern on both sides, fucking blood, sweat, and derby. Then to go ahead and give a quick shout-out to the people that made it. That's Bout Betties. They're a subscription box for derby gear. Fucking sick-ass. Anyway, two things that I want to talk about. One, I talked about it before, and I'm going to talk about it again, and that is the fundraiser shirt that Boomtown Derby Dames, which is one of the teams here in Alaska, is putting out. I just opened the wrong damn program for what I wanted to do. And what it is this shirt, and as soon as I get it up here, and manage to get this all situated and stuff. There we go. Okay. This shirt says, if you think 2 minutes is short, you've never played roller derby. And what these funds do, these funds allow Boomtown, because we live in Alaska, to travel. They have these tournaments they want to go to so they can get ranked on the worldwide ranking board for the competitive sport of roller derby. So if you're interested in this shirt, it comes in black, blue, green, storm, and white.
What the fuck is Storm?
It's like a dark blue, I guess. It's kind of like a navy blue.
Like a navy?
It comes in a t-shirt, a women's slouchy tank, a pullover hoodie, and a unisex
Storm
tank top.
Popped up for me.
It also has the Boomtown Derby Dames logo on the back. The shirts are $20, which I think is an incredible price, considering most of the t-shirts that I ever see like shared on the internet are always like $35 fucking dollars. So
without shipping.
They have to sell 11 of these shirts in order for them to be produced and for them to actually get any money from them. They have sold 8, so if you are interested in a new shirt and helping support women empowerment and awesome upcoming sport, which is roller derby, as well as getting this sick, awesome shirt from them, please consider going to the link that I'm going to drop into the show notes right now. Onto the live, they're in the show notes. I'm dropping it into the live stream right now, and consider picking yourself up a shirt, a tank top, or a hoodie. The other thing that I want to talk about is if you are in Alaska, please consider, if you want to be involved in roller derby in any way, whether you want to be a skater, a referee, a non-skating official, if you want to be an announcer. I am the only announcer for the state of Alaska, so if
Sorry, buddy.
No, it's okay. If you want to come announce with me, if you want to come announce with me, or if you want to not announce with me, but you're interested in announcing, if you want to yell into a microphone while watching women skate around a track and throw each other around, please come to the Boomtown Derby Dames Recruitment Night. It is taking place this Saturday, September 30th, in Palmer at the Humdinger's Gourmet Pizza Company. That is 173 South Valley Way in Palmer, starting at 8 p.m. I know that's a little bit late, but if you are interested in helping in roller derby, not even if you want to play, not if you don't want to skate, there's so many people that are needed to make this sport happen because it's done completely by volunteer. If you are interested in helping, please come to the Boomtown Derby Dames Recruitment Night this Saturday, September 30th, 8 p.m. at the Humdinger's Gourmet Pizza Company in Palmer. If you are not in Alaska, and you've heard me talk about derby, and you're like, that sounds interesting, literally just Google derby in your area. I'm sure there's a team. Go talk to them. It's an awesome sport. They're really happy to see new people get excited about the sport and to come help them out. So if you want to come hang out with us and help us and announce with me, or help in any other of those capacities, please consider looking into your local team. If you are in Alaska, there's teams in Anchorage, Palmer, Wasilla, Fairbanks, Sitka, Juneau, Kenai. There's teams all over the place. There's also teams all over the place in the lower 48. So please consider going and checking out recruitment. Okay. Now,
and
Nathan.
Vivi,
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Sorry, go ahead.
First, I'm gonna not talk back to Vivi.
You talk
answer
back
Vivi's
to her.
question. Vivi said, "Can Nate skate?" I can, not very well. I did try and help out with announcing at the Derby, but I have since found out I have incredible stage fright.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
At least you're able to do this.
I'm not. It's like I'm not talking to real people. No offense, all of you.
Okay. So now my question is, if we got invited to a convention of some kind, would you be all right?
Oh, dude, I would force myself to go because I love the show. But you'll see me Mitch Hedberging and fucking putting on sunglasses and like looking down and around. Or I'll fucking Lemmy Kilmeister this shit and put my mic up here and just talk upwards.
Perfect. That's great. That's great.
So anyways, my things of the day, right?
Yeah.
I have two. One's kind of sad, and I'm going to start with that one. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who was in Seinfeld. If she was the I'm really bad with names. I had her name popped up on here, that's why. But she was the gal in Seinfeld. She had revealed that she has breast cancer.
Okay.
So that's really unfortunate. She's also in VIP, which is pretty funny. I enjoy it, the little bits that I've seen. But I just it's unfortunate that you have to go through this, Julia. I'm sorry.
Well, and hopefully she is actually able to overcome it.
Yes. The other thing is that the movie It tops 500 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing horror film ever.
That's pretty insane.
That's exciting for horror films. I'm excited as a giant horror film fan because I really, really want to see the It treatment to other horror films.
Yeah.
I love horror. I love being scared for some reason, but not like in a, hey, you're standing here talking to people kind of scared. I like being scared in the, holy shit, you're gonna fucking die.
So the suspenseful kind.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
It's like exciting that I'm gonna die, you know?
Should we get out of here?
Yeah.
Sick. All right, everybody. If you enjoyed this show, if you enjoyed this episode, if you get value from this show, consider showing us some value back. Patreon.com/dailyinternet. If you can spare $1 a month, $2, $3, $4, $5 a month. If you can spare even a little bit, please send it our way. Help this show grow and maintain its growth because, damn, the show's expensive sometimes. Otherwise, there's several other ways that you can support us. You can always fail. Yeah, you can fail.
You can always fail.
You
I
can
do that a lot.
follow and share us on social media, which is Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All of those are at iReadit Cast. We're also on YouTube. Just search iReadit. We don't have enough subscribers right now for us to get our own URL. Or leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. All of that helps us grow, helps other people find the show, and we appreciate it immensely.
Simultaneously, you can fail us by doing none of that.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Good job, Nathan. Way to call him out on it. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at Schwan Michael. Nathan is at Bimmenstein. If you have a story you want us to talk about, even if it's an old one, we will happily talk about it because we exist because you listen to us. And if it's important to you, then it needs to be important to us. So send us your stories or your feedback. If you got something you need to get off your chest, tell us we suck or that our opinions are garbage. Send us an email to our inbox, which is feedback.ireadit@gmail.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. That is it, everybody. That is your 358th dose of the internet. It is Thursday, and we have not reached Patreon goals to get us to additional days a week, so we will be back on Monday at 6 p.m. Alaska time, live on Facebook. And that is it, everybody. Please remember, everybody. Oh, I'm Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everybody.
Don't get eliminated!
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.